coming in, there's space. We can sit people on the stage. We want to try to get everyone in who can come in. Also, guys, the buses are going to wait for you. Our show should end around 1. DJ, can you kill it? All right. So, you guys ready for this show? All right. Let's see how ready you are. When I say word, you say up. Word. Word. When I say hi, you say tech. Hi. Tech. Hi. Tech. When I say hip, you say hop. Hip. Hop. Hip. Hop. Yeah, they're ready. All right. So, guys, we always like to open the space with a poem. We always start off with a poem or a rap, and so we are going to start off with one of our talented poets, Laura P. She was going to do a piece for you right now, so please make as much noise as you can for Laura, who's going to set this off.
Comfort zone of conversation. I say things 3 times. Words get lodged in my mouth and my throat. They don't fit around my tongue as they usually do, so I force them out once, twice, 3 times. I wonder if my friends notice the way my eyes twitch and my left arm links to my right, and the way my nails link to my flesh. I am too self-aware. Is it comfort? Is it comfort? Is it comfort? This I can't say. I just know that it slows me down like the drugs my mom refused to have me take. The ones my dad took with his drinks, the little bottles, I would find scattered on the path between my home and the convenience store. I would find them and I know the smell of raspberry vodka. I would find them with my friend. I would find them and chuck them into the Hudson River going, it's probably my dad's. The bottles dotting the floor of his office, the walls containing his shame, the walls holding in his failure, the walls holding in his rage and spilling out the cracks. My comfort zone has walls. It's thick barricades between me and being able to leave my house. The word walls fits so nicely in my mouth, painted so nicely, and why would I leave? Why would I talk to people? Why would I? Why would I? Why would I when I can't? When my hands shake and my mouth goes dry, I think, is this a pamphlet on anxiety that my doctor gave me? The word anxiety doesn't fit so nicely. It's too crunchy on the edges. Words that mean too much always taste too horrible. I spit it out the same way my mom does. Anxiety isn't a card to play when I don't want to talk to the pizza guy. It's the writing on the walls telling me I can't leave. The exit signs aren't clearly lit. Is there a way out? Is there a way out? Is there a way out? How did I get here in the first place? They will tell you, repeat after me, close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. Repeat after me. Therapy is loaded dice. Home life is a loaded gun. I have these words locked and loaded and ready to go. Repeat after me. This has an ending. Everything has an ending. We are all going to end. How will I end? How will I end? When this is only the beginning. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Laura, but you have to come up here, MC too. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Word Up for High Tech. Welcome, come on.
I'm Ashley.
We have some amazing talents for you today. Now, this is not your typical slam poetry. Usually slam poetries are for judging, and this time we do not judge. So if you have any judgments, keep it in your mind.
Okay. And what we do, if the poet is speaking and they say something that you catch and you feel it, you snap. That's what we're doing over there. And keep in mind, this is all original works of poetry and music. Everything that is performed here is made by us.
And don't forget to socialize with us. We're on Twitter at High-Tech Slam. Advertising. You never get too much advertising. And if you want to tweet about the event, just use hashtag #WordUp4. Thanks, guys.
A feature preview from the most amazing Andrea Gibbs.
Nervous. I'm always nervous. My God, I wish I went here. Everything would have been so much better. I'm going to read you a love poem that I wrote for my body. And I wrote this on one of the hardest days of my life. I realized I was living in my body like my body was my enemy. And I wanted to figure out a way to become an ally to my body. And so I started writing this piece. If you've never written a love poem to your body before, I really recommend it. Even if you're not a poet, write a love letter. This is called I Sing the Body Electric, especially when my power's up. I feel like dancing still. This is my body. I have weather vanes. They're especially sensitive to dust storms and hurricanes. When I'm nervous, my teeth chatter like a wheelbarrow collecting rain. I am rusty when I talk. It's the storm in me. The doctor said someday I might not be able to walk. It is in my blood like the iron. My mother is tough as nails. She held herself together the day she could no longer hold my knees. She said our kneecaps are our prayer beds. Everyone can walk further on their kneecaps than they can on their feet. This is my heartbeat. Like yours, it is a hatchet. It can build a house or tear one down. My mouth is a fire escape. The words coming out cannot care that they are naked. There is something burning in here. When it burns, I hold my own shell to my ear. Listen to the parade. When I was 7, the man who played the bagpipes wore a skirt. He was from Scotland, so I wanted to move there. Wanted my spine to be the spine of an unpublished book. My fate, the first and last page. The day my ribcage became monkey bars for a girl, hanging on my every word. They said, we were not allowed to love her. Tried to take me by the throat to teach me I was not a boy. I had to unlearn their prison speak. Refused to make wishes on the star on the sheriff's chest. I started wishing on the stars in the sky instead. I said to the sun, tell me about the Big Bang. The sun said, it hurts to become. I carry that hurt on the tip of my tongue and whisper, bless your heart every chance I get. So my family tree can be sure I have not left. You do not have to leave to arrive. I am learning this slowly. So sometimes when I look in the mirror, my eyes still look like the holes in the shoes of the shoe shine man. Some days my hands are busy on the wrong thing. Some days I call my arms wings. While my head is in the clouds, it will take me a few more years to learn flying. It's not pushing away the ground, but safety isn't always safe. You can find one in every gun. I am aiming to do better. This is my body. My exhaustion pipe will never pass inspection. And still my lungs know how to breathe like a burning map. Every time I get lost behind the curtain of her hair, find me by the window, following my past to that trail of blood in the snow. The day I open my veins, the doctor who stitched me up asked me if I did it for retention. For the record, if you've ever done anything for retention, this poem is attention. Title it with your name. It will scour the city bridge every time you stand staring at the river. It never wants to find your body doing anything but loving what it loves. Love what you love. Say, this is my body. It is no one's but mine. This is my nervous system, my wanting blood, my half-tamed addictions, my tongue tied up like a ball of Christmas lights. If you put a star on the top of my tree, make sure it's a star that fell. Make sure it hit bottom like a tambourine. Because all these words are stories to the staircase to the top of my lungs, where I sing what hurts and the echo comes back. Bless your heart. Bless your holy kneecaps. They are so smart. You are so full of rain. There is so much that is growing. Hallelujah to your weather vanes. Hallelujah to the ache, to the pull, to the fall, to the pain. Hallelujah to the grace in the body and every cell of us all.
Oh my God, that was like so amazing. Like, I'm gonna write like 15 letters. Alright, so our next poet is Hamza.
Oh, did that work? Okay, that works. Hi everyone. So this one's called Analyzing the Mental Stability of the Poet. When you Google the phrase, should the mentally ill be? The first suggestion that comes up is in prison, followed by forced into treatment, and after that, executed. Should the mentally ill be executed? Should Ernest Hemingway be executed? Should Janis Joplin be executed? Should the waxy stalactites of Sylvia Plath's poetry have dripped down until they reached the ground and created daunting pillars, like the prison bars that dangled from the ceiling of her brain, inscribed with the lyrics of a eulogy? Should I be executed? Should it be that if my mind grew too tall to fit in my skull, my head would better explode than adapt to the soaring height? My mind is as viscous as honey, as concrete as silk, as limited as a hot air balloon whisking the soft Indiana sky. And as swarms of bees pry at my skull, I smile, because I am not allergic, I am alive. The thing is, I think I'm okay with being insane. Insanity is a mouthful of words only you know. Being insane is being unique, and being unique is being a poet. And if poetry is just a mouthful of words only you know, then I guess all poets are insane. And that's pretty good company to be in, if you ask me. You see, us poets, we love physics. We throw our words up and they dazzle amongst the stars in languages we never knew we could speak. And we watch them fall, each one different from the other, like snowflakes in Manhattan that fill the streets with aerial veins of white silk ribbon. And we, sorry. And we calculate the speed at which they fall, and that makes us hum the notes of a love song. Does it tempt you as much as it pleasures us? Poetry is a mental juxtaposition of Poetry is a mental juxtaposition of fire buried deep in our guts, and wisdom extracted from the deepest of cranial crevices. And in some sickly beautiful way, it seems as though this medical impurity is in itself our medication. If us poets really are mentally unstable, then we do a damn good job of channeling it into our work. I can't help but feel uncomfortable with myself because my mind is a war I've been trying to win, but I've never been good at treaties. If us poets really are mentally unstable, it stings of salt water and mouthwash and honey, and it feels sweet. I feel nothing, but as long as I have stanzas coursing my arteries and couplets clogging my veins, I'm the happiest man you will ever know.
That was awesome, and he was amazing. And the next poet that I have the pleasure of introducing is the wonderful Jeanette. Before I start, I just want to say this is something that I know is a very personal subject, and it gets very emotional for some people. So if you want to hug someone next to you, go ahead. This is what this place is for. So my poem's called "Cancer is the Key to Time Travel." 8-year-olds do not grasp the meaning of death. 8-year-olds do not grasp the meaning of chemotherapy. 8-year-olds do not grasp the meaning of cancer. 8-year-old dismiss the fact that every time you see her, her hair looks different. 8-year-old ignore the conversations, embracing debates over inheritance. 8-year-old embrace what's left of her. I wish 8-year-old me understood what it meant to have cancer. I wish 8-year-old me understood how to cope with death. I wish 16-year-old me understood how to cope with death. You see, chemotherapy plays the strings of the human anatomy. Every hair follicle falls silent with every dying cell. I can't tell if you just didn't like grandma's cooking or if you're just sick. Sick. H1N1, pneumonia, flu, cold. None of the over-the-counter medicines could determine what the hell was wrong. Sick. Doctors, diagnosis will never be pretty. The doctor will stare at you through the deserts of your eyes, apologize for the wait, and assure you that cancer only ever damages your paycheck. Cancer, cellular mutations, bodily mutations, emotional mutations. What happened to the vanilla ice cream sundaes you would leave on the table for me? What happened to your perfectly blonde hair? Why is it so thin? Why won't you come play? Why won't you wear blue eyeshadow anymore? Why are you writing down all of your things on that piece of paper? Why are you in a box? You see, 8-year-old me wasn't aware of cancer's time-warping properties. Years pass you by. Your hair gets thinner, your body grows weaker, you lose hope, and as you lose hope, your entire past is laid out for you like your college years lover. You're once again 8 years old. You spin bikes, spin hoops, spin ring around the rosy, we fall into a pit of, you are now 16. First date, first kiss, first touch. His fingers creep up the thighs of despair. You were never thin enough for his touch. You are now in your 20s. A white gown, a black tuxedo, children down the aisle, marriage is cancer, a commitment for life. Rings bind you to your problems, your mutations, honeymoon chemotherapy sessions you didn't know until you are now 70. 50 years of commitment. That was the only time I didn't witness chemical therapy in your smile. One night. You were given one night. You danced. You danced with death because you didn't know you would only withstand 10 months of playing lab rat. 3 days. You played Sleeping Beauty. 3 days. July 25th, 2011, approximately 3 o'clock. My grandmother still has the silver shoes in their new box, deep in her closet. She offers them to me, says they would be her legacy. But I still have your white belt, a silver turtle as the buckle. I refuse to wear it. I am not your legacy. Your house is no longer yours. Your quirky decorations no longer exist. Your portrait is painted. We sent you flowers, and to this day I have the guilt. I carry the weight on my broken bones. I count on time to heal the wounds. I carry the shame on my hollow heart. I count on broken promises of gods and saints to numb me to your casket. They told me you were fine. They told me that prayer made you okay. They told me his prayers, that promise, you'll be okay. I don't know how you feel right now, and as I put pen through paper, I start to realize you're probably not thinking about me rather than watching me. Watching me vomit my thoughts onto paper, not just about you, but about the boy I met, the people I befriended and shifted away. You've seen my problems, my insecurities, you know my thoughts. So if you know my thoughts, why is cancer like time travel? Thank
The feels. I want to invite you guys over there. You can come in towards the front if you want to be closer. Come. You can sit on the stage if you want, or sit down there. Whatever you're feeling. Next, we have Cynthia.
Speaking in front of 130 people, it's like, what? Alright, so, Andrea Gibson signed this paper for me, and it's obvious now that I'm never going to throw it out, but besides the point. So, my poem's called Thoughts to Self, so it's a mashup of my 2 poems, Birth Control and Touch, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thoughts to Self number 1, Being Touched. When was the last time someone touched you? Made you feel as if the words that had flown out of their mouths had somehow flown into your lungs and made you breathe again. That the hot blood you saw flowing through the veins in their arms becomes the blood beating in your heart, and the only thing on your mind is them. Thoughts to self number 2, sex. All of a sudden, you feel the warm, cool chill of your mother's maternal touch on your skin, and you think only one thing to yourself. Didn't mother ever tell you what the best birth control is? Step 1, grab a tiny aspirin. Step 2, place it in between your knees. Step 3, now you can't let it fall, or else you won't cross your legs. Watch all the teen pregnancy shows you can. You know exactly where to find the MTV channel. Tell yourself you're too smart for sex, even though you avoid telling yourself the obvious, how smart and sex can go hand in hand. Thoughts to self number 3, teen girl issues number 1. When your dad tells you you need to buy a new wardrobe, but you don't know why, and the fact that all of a sudden he can't stand the idea of you wearing half of the things you used to wear, don't take it personally. You just can't stand the sight of his little girl remaining but her body changing, or how the clothes you wear would someday attract a boy. that would one day take it off for the first time. Thoughts to self number 4, self-acceptance. When you start to see how silly it all is, go to the boy you like, kiss him straight on the mouth when he says yes to going out with you. Stand up to your dad, tell him to stop trying to hide your beauty. If he still doesn't understand, don't speak to him. He'll eventually get it. Finally, just love yourself. Look at your body, tell yourself this is a part of me, a part of my splendor. And last but not least, let the aspirin fall and place it gently into the trash bin. Thoughts to self number 5, thoughts on the boy. Yet the thing that gets you every time about them is simply the fact that their hands have never even come near you. They never put their hands on somewhere as nearest to your cheek. Never did you hear the words, so can we do this? And you never felt that that 3-letter word was the answer to having them keep their heart wrapped around you. Because they made you feel special, because you are special and they acknowledge that. Not when they know they make you feel special and catch on to this and try to see how special they can make you feel. Thoughts to self number 6, the she and the he. This person sees you, doesn't know you better than you know yourself. And they show this because each day they look at you as if you're a piece of obsidian. So dark, so obscure, so mysterious. But this isn't a turn on to them. And they make this known to you because each day they want to know more and more about you and turn you on in a completely different way than what is made known to us through all the mainstream crap that's sold to our already marred society. Thoughts to self number 7, just him. By the end of the night, he's not trying to take your clothes off. He's just trying to get some blush onto your cheek by gently caressing them with his lips and hair, and lets you ask for him to kiss you for real. Thoughts to self number 8, the end. When it all ended, you can say he touched you 1,000,000 times, and each time it felt 100 times better than the last. And he can say the exact same. Whether or not their bodies ever met each other is kept between them as their own secret. The important part is they touched each other. So I leave you with this question. When was the last time somebody touched you? Thanks, guys.
I've been touched. Poetry is amazing, but now we have a hip-hop piece from 2 ridiculous but also talented rappers. Please help me welcome to the stage, Coleslaw and Vaz.
Why I gotta get the short mic?
Okay, so we're both Devin, but I'm Coleslaw. These guys makes it easier for you guys to separate us apart.
Yeah.
Yo, DJ, spin that.
I'm Big Devin. So this is something a little different than what we usually do. Just go with the flow.
Open the door, here comes the talking. The voice is coming back like Squeaky Will, Stephen Hawking. I hear it so clearly that the world seems to be haunted. Not a single soul is moving as I hear the night crawling. Curve back, let me breathe the ass so I can end the laughter. My life is not a joke, although I'll laugh about it after. Slashing mass chapters, skipping through the pages so they can live faster. I'm chilling in the moment, knowing that it all can pass up, but it hasn't. So folks gon' bring this asthma. Now this whole track is wrong because we don't have manners. Damn. What happened to your grammar? After spelling B, it seems that you can handle the deep literature. Now your words constantly slurred. We prefer when you refer back to dirty sandals. Now you all washed up and clean like a new pencil. A new layer added on to cover up your tantrums. The way you interpret my words is something that I can't help. These answers on these lines only for myself. So wait for me to vent after mentioning my health. I'm most likely to die at 22, stuff that smells. My parents came together to create something that sells. Instead they made a child that's cool, that sickle cell. I know that they regret it, it's something that you can tell. I question my existence as I hear the world yell. Yeah.
Moving extra slow?
Yeah, we get it. Let your mind go ahead and spill it. The heroes wanna show the super villains. Just never hold back what your brain's feeling. Moving extra slow? Yeah, we get it. Let your mind go ahead and spill it. The heroes wanna show the super villains. Just never hold back what your brain's
brain spilling.
As the sun rises up, I can see the light shut. It's time for me to go to sleep. I'm nocturnal, always up. When the moon is in the sky, now when the sun shines too much, let my imagination take hold of everything at once. Imaginary foundation brush off my brand new laces. It's time to hit the streets, I'm looking for some new places. I've always been adventurous. What I failed to mention is I live in the place everybody has adventured in. I want to find new land that has been abused. But what are you to do when you cannot leave your shoes? I like the sun, depending on the day's mood. If I want to kick back on an island some juice. Vacation and PlayStation is all that we're running through my brainwaves, but we don't even play PlayStation. We rock Xbox. Don't know how to maintain it. All I'm saying is I'm just playing. Living tunnel vision with a different premonition of how my life will be fitted. In a couple years I'll finish with college and college women. So knocking after we dip it. Stopping to check the switches. The door's locked just to make sure they cannot pivot. Don't want those from your past to come back. You'll never miss it. Trying to find ways to avoid the bad decisions. But we practice for hours just to play for minutes. We know that it's worth it. It's worth the serving my gimmicks.
Yeah, moving extra slow. Yeah, we get it. Let your mind go ahead and spill it. The heroes wanna show, this is the villains. Just never hold back what your brain is feeling. Moving extra slow, I don't get it. Let your mind go, I think you did it.
You might have held back all the things you're feeling.
Explain it once again so they don't forget it.
The moon is my home, I can turn you back to stone.
And put it on the ring so you'll never feel alone.
Understand the things I conceal when I'm alone.
So when you look into it, you can see what's going on.
We found one place that takes us somewhere calm.
Where we can walk aimlessly aiming into a storm.
And come out almost perfect, this hurt only was on.
Our backs and our legs so we're naked from further wrong.
It really wouldn't matter if our bodies just became one.
You could never judge as anyone is everyone.
But that will never happen if someone is no one.
We all have our place, keep looking for your pond.
Your sanctuary of peace that keeps you moving strong.
Your little place of hope to cope with all the wrong.
We cannot make it right, but I'd like to say that it might.
Keep this dream to go to show you that there is light.
Dreams will never fade away, they're greater than the American night. You think they get it?
I don't know. Hope so. It's up to them to decide if they want to listen or not.
Good. Yeah. It's too bright here.
That was amazing. Give it up again. That was just brilliant. Okay, and next we have Brianna.
Can you guys hear me? Yes? Okay. A conversation with reflection in the mirror and 8 things I got out of it. 1. You are trapped in a rotting body on a dying planet in a mysterious dimension that is controlled by an unknown force. Good morning to you too. That face will wrinkle, you will age. There will come a day where those green eyes that are lit with flames will one day just be smoke. There will come a day where your mind is a prison and you're doing life because you were falsely accused of the murder of your own sanity. His Alzheimer's was just a long goodbye. There will come a day where you do not recognize yourself. You have never seen yourself from another person's point of view. You've never seen yourself in person, only in a mirror too. You've never met a mirror you didn't like. They speak the truth of, damn, I look good today, or let's just stick with the hoodie. My reflection knows me best, who sees me making those stupid faces in the morning and sees me trying to be what I want to be, who sees me as my true colors. What color is a mirror? Glass is clear. Is it one of those things, not all glass is a mirror, but all mirrors are made of glass? Glass is scratched with envy and jealousy. You have been looking through glass for what seems like forever. Silver frames that framed your face were your first pair. Great. That silver ring you wear on your right hand means 3 things. Friendship, loyalty, and love. It will never rust, so those 3 things are always with you. Your favorite place to see silver is in the sky, and both you and I know that sometimes that silver-coated moon sparkles like a disco ball while the stars dance around it until her face lights up the world with a smile that makes darkness quiver in its boots. 4.
You miss the warmth of the sun on your skin. You long for the long summer nights where you would run on the sand with tangible light for miles and not even care. Is it possible to get moonburn? The sand between your toes felt good in comparison to the sunburn, and maybe you wouldn't burn if you weren't so white. Why are you so white? You love the sun but hate sunscreen. I see your problem. Literally, I can see your problem painted across your skin like a canvas that belonged to an artist who only bought bright red paint. And remember when you'd stay up till 2 in the morning talking to him? 5. He's sitting in a part of your brain like a patient in a doctor's office waiting to be evaluated, and the evaluation always brings up memories you wish you could get surgically removed. How did he get here? The thought process of a poet is a disturbed one. If it's one group of people all poets have to thank, it's the exes, the people who you can write about and they'll never know because they don't go to your shows anymore. His words tore you apart like a bullet going through the Queen of Hearts, and no, that was not meant to rhyme, and no, we were not meant to be. It takes 21 days to form a habit. He became one. 6. Love is when you think of someone before you go to sleep. Love is red like the brake lights on the back of reality. Your mind was doing 80 when the two of you crashed. Red like the way he poured out for her. She would never know how much he really loved her. Red like the single rose your mother gives to you on Valentine's Day. You will always be my Valentine. Love burns a red flame. 7. That scar you have on your hand is from when you burned yourself when you were younger. You were fascinated by the blue light. The blue flame flared. It reached out to shake your hand. It reached out to your green fingernails like Gatsby reached out to the green light. And you thought it would feel cool. Instead, it left you with a scar that rang out in pain. And you didn't scream out in pain. You stared and watched as your skin cells seemed to tango with the flame that was on the dance floor that was your little index finger. The same blue flame is the one that boils up your tea in the winter. Winter has taken a toll on you, honey. Your pale skin looks like porcelain, but you are no one's doll. Why are you so white? Never-ending winter made spring feel like summer and made me feel terrific. In life, the spring air is the best thing after a horrible winter. 8. All that people want to get out of life is to get out alive. Life, also known as the time you intend to spend changing the world, the only time you have, all the time in the world, and the greatest opportunity you will ever be given to rock somebody's world, life. Same fight, different round, same show, different act, same this, different that. Thank you, me, I get the point. And in life, I have come to the realization to live by these 2 things. 1, never tell anybody anything you know.
That was wonderful. And next we'll have Natalie.
Stand by. Okay, as you heard, my name's Natalie, and this is my poem, Like Her. I've seen girls suck on wedding rings like hard candy because they think a jaw full of silver fillings is beautiful. You unscrew the lid to take a whiff. The expiration date is covered by labels. I don't like preservatives. I think my morals are rotting. But the billboards of teenagehood told me to thrive for that mountain perfection stands on. It's so easy to be enchanted. Modesty is now chastity. A proper silhouette is no longer silly putty in comfy overalls that sings a dulcet symphony. My friend, she one time baptized me in a hot topic with multicolor eyeliner to my eyebrows. I looked like the saddest birthday cake ever. In the bathroom, I see girls sculpt a new face, wearing clothes cut and quartered in the dead of winter. They said this was high school. They said this was fashion. They said that the goosebumps that form when they go outside is a step closer to a boyfriend that'll keep them warm. They said it was unruly to have a bare face with nothing to hide. They said, I'll be like this. The world cried, be happy. But I have a shortcut through your integrity. You paint teenage billboards on your skin to throw yourselves at organized attempts to advertise computer-jammed images that have no place but in their Barbie packaging confines. My confidence will not smudge when I cry for the friend who thinks the fingers jammed down her throat are pointing in the right direction, or for every girl who screamed, "I wish I looked like her," because my confidence is woven in my smile, keeping the gap in my teeth that holds the words, "You are beautiful."
The next poem we by two people actually, and it's from our lovely poets, of course, Ben.
And Ashley.
Hey, we also need Franklin Sabulich. Yeah, there he is. He's coming. So where this poem comes from, I think at every point, whenever we write, at the end of it, the first thing we ask ourselves is this worth reading? And this is exploring that, so.
And he wrote all of this.
All right. Should I write this down fast? Oh, okay. Should I write this down fast? Does this pen have short-term memory loss? Does this ink know all your shit? Like that nosebleed you had the first time you had sex, or why she was a stranger the next day? Do I know that? Do I know that? What does this pen want to say?
Who do you think you are? God?
Who am I to say I am?
Who are you to say you aren't?
I am just human.
I am just pen.
Is human God to pen?
It's pen God to anyone.
Is human God to anyone? So I'm writing this poem.
No, this poem is writing you.
Who do you think you are, God?
No, I am pen. My ink knows all your shit. It runs out too.
Is that all we are? Running out.
Is that all this poem is? Running out runoff.
Is that all we are? Just poems, just our poems.
Who said this was the poem I wanted to write?
Is this the poem you wanted to write?
I have no way of knowing.
What does the paper have to say about it? Is he too busy? Is it still a tree?
Tree has 180 other pages to be in. Who said it would ever look at this one when it's got contracts and business documents to be through?
Who said those matter? Who said mine doesn't matter more?
God did.
Is human God to pen?
Tree has 180 other pages to be in.
Does it have space for God? Does it have space for human?
It didn't invite you to scratch it. I didn't invite you to run me out.
Did I invite me to run me out?
No one did but you.
Does page have space for Ben?
Aren't you at the bottom of it?
I wouldn't like to be.
Who do you think you are, God?
What do I do with my hands now?
That was awesome. This pen is God. This is my Jesus. This pen is my Jesus. I love you. So, our next poet is one of our newest members, Chadney.
Poem Monster. She who roamed the hallways alone, she who ate her lunch in the bathroom, she who felt invisible, she is me. And I cannot feel what had happened. I don't know what to forget or what to remember, to remember. I was once alone. I was alone. No one bothered to look at me. The way I dress is not pretty, not to impress. I am the girl under the hood, the one who is protected from the rest of the fear and challenges others throw. The one who doesn't reveal herself, the one who makes it harder to trust. I am a lock no key could open, a lock that held everything, everything I couldn't reveal, everything I ever felt. When I traveled the dark, people traveled in light. I brought danger, fear, lies, anything but hope. I didn't look for a way out in the tunnel because it felt like home. It just became a part of who I am. It changes form so you could never know what was me and what wasn't. I was blamed for the mistakes that the darkness had made, but I must admit, sometimes it was me all along. Thank you.
That was amazing. But just for the record, Jalen stole my pen. So we have another hip hop song for you, and of course it's original. We have it by our talented rapper, Mr. Inspirational is what I call him, Kareem.
What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Whew. What's good, sorry, everybody? Alright. Y'all know there's a poetry event, right? So I need y'all to communicate with me. I want to communicate with you, alright? When I put my arm up, y'all are gonna say yes, yes, y'all. Alright, it's not too hard. Alright? Alright. How y'all feeling tonight? Yeah. Alright. Sounds pretty good to me. We got DJ Cubano on the ones and twos right now. Shouts out to him. Alright, check it out. Yes, yes, y'all. Alright. Yes, yes, y'all. Same sound. Yes, yes, y'all. H.I.P., expressing it all day through poetry. By the way that I'm kicking it, you know it's me. Acts of holiness, we all G.O.Ds. I don't flow for fees, I only do it for me. Stage is the classroom, you're the students I teach. Confusing it seems when you listen to it at first. The words go over your heads like the birds. It's the verse that hit you like Holy Ghost in the church. Producing miracles like God birthing the earth for the minds that we got. Yo, it's hard to explain in speech. It's just the way that we be. Oh, yes, yes, y'all. Alright. Yes, yes, y'all. Alright. Yes, yes, y'all. Sun God shining, bringing light to the dark. Now with the diamonds I flung, but the rhymes and the art, knowledge is dropped from the start. Flow from the heart, taking you out of slavery, splitting waters apart. Oh, hold up, Cubano, stop that. I don't think they heard me. I'll say it one more time. The sun God shining, bringing light to the dark. Now with the diamonds I flaunt, but the rhymes and the art, knowledge is dropped from the start. Flow from the heart. Taking you out of slavery, splitting waters apart. This is the modern day minister for the brothers and sisters. We're the doers, not the wishers. Envision the future through the mental pictures. Listeners of Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, Moses, all the providers to the soulless. If you don't know this, then focus. You will notice the spirit inside provoked this. That told me if I didn't write this, we are hopeless. Causing commotion, fueled by infinite emotion. Trying to articulate spirit through the spoken word. Nouns and verbs broken down from the sounds is heard. Ignorance now deterred. Yes, yes, y'all. One more time, yes, yes, y'all. Say it louder, yes, yes, y'all. For the climax, come on, yes, yes, y'all. That's what it is, thank you.
Yes, yes, y'all. Next, we have Emily.
Hold up. Okay, we need 30 seconds, Ash. They're gonna switch tapes.
30 seconds. Jokes. Anybody have a joke? So, what would an event here be without a corny joke? So, knock knock. Orange. Who's there? Wait, I messed up. I'm sorry. Okay. An event here be without a corny joke. So, knock knock. Orange. Who's there? Wait, I messed up. I'm sorry. Orange is not it. Say orange. 30 seconds, yes. Are we good? Guys. All right. What's a mix between a parrot and a centipede? A walkie-talkie. It's Javi's birthday. Happy birthday, okay? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Javi.
Artistic expression starts with an empty section of space, clean as bare canvas we are all born with, porcelain paper valleys that were connected to like Siamese twins. As we grow and develop, some slaughter its paper back with rainbow-soaked fists, knuckles bruised with tints and tones. As we gain even more years, some continue to claw at their sketchbooks with lead fingers, 2H, F, 6B, charcoal, markers, ink. The future dances with shades and shapes of my favorite kind. Reality hits with full force, head on. New standards are put in place. The proportions you created are unacceptable. A thumbs up is not just some stub of flesh. Have you ever seen an actual person? Look closer. The neck isn't this long, the arms aren't either. And what are you even doing with that nose? This is an anime. Why are you drawing anime? Your eyes are not symmetrical, but Picasso's somehow are, despite their sideways glance. Who's Picasso, you ask? You better find out. Through the long, dreary essays you'll write, evaluating every choice, every element, every stroke of the brush that went into the equation of the Mona Lisa theorem, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with your own work. Retrace the guidelines, the cross that lifts you up before tossing you down at the feet of the mob, shamed by the uninteresting design of your original characters. Your friends and family may love your style, but will the critics? It was Pablo Picasso who said, every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. Truly the words of a wise man, because as I grow up, my lead fingers grow uncertain and sore, more rules and expectations and uncertainties that center and black out what was my masterpiece, watercolored red by my own 2 paintbrushes. What was pretty damn good is now not good at all. It just looks as flat as the slab I started with.
But I could have sworn I beamed that easel over and over again with my tears, hopes, and dreams. The overwhelming challenges are in my one-point perspective now, overlapping the strength in my stars, still glowing so bright in the heavens of my brain nerves. My work is not done, but as long as I have these two colored stained hands and this creative drive, it won't ever have to be.
I'm also an artist. I actually drew this. Haters. We also have another poet. We MCs are actually poets, so welcome an MC of mine, Shaylin.
Alright, so the title of my poem. Okay, so the title of my poem is Lotion. Just because my skin is darker than your deepest thoughts and secrets doesn't mean I don't get to play in your white wonderland. Afro thicker than blood and water, don't drown in the sea of my being. Flood your whole town with Kool-Aid and give you the taste of sweetness. Plant logic and reason into your throat that you choke on realization. Adopting black children from Africa is not community service. Money is the only thing that calls, and these people don't have a landline. These churches are like bomb shelters in the world of equality. Misspelled scriptures on the wall because no one can get a quality education. We have more people behind bars than rappers dropping them. That's why these songs sound so angry. America has abolished their American dream. Cigarette smoke is like cologne and tattoos are like clothing. We should just change the names of these neighborhoods to unfinished products because the paint is peeling off the walls and the heat and lights are being cut off. Y'all wonder why those rooms like Antarctica in the winter. I'm not saying that blacks are the victims, but then who the hell are the predators?
Up next is one of the personal friends of mine, Havana. This poem gives the feels too, so it gives the feels.
Hi. My poem's called Hazel Eyes and a Heartbeat. Okay. When I was younger, my parents always warned me about the drugs in the streets, but they never warned me about the hazel eyes and a heartbeat. When I was younger, my parents told me, don't talk to strangers. They never told me not to talk to the hazel eyes and a heartbeat. When I was younger, my parents always warned me about boys and that circle, circle, dot, dot, now you've got the cootie shot, was some type of vaccine that would protect me from the vicious disease we call heartbreak. But we all go through it sooner or later. I still remember the day I met Hazel Eyes and a Heartbeat, his smile, far more addicting than any drug. Hazel Eyes and a Heartbeat had the softest touch. Every night and every morning for weeks and months, I never stopped thinking about Hazel Eyes and a Heartbeat. He promised me forever. Some infinities are bigger than other infinities. Our infinity was 6 months. Unfortunately, some people don't understand the promises they're making when they make them. Hazel Eyes and a Heartbeat eventually became mine. I woke up every morning with his name on my lips and his name on my phone because once I fell asleep, he'd always explain to me how happy he was and he couldn't even imagine being with someone else. His love was different. I felt it in every cell of my body, every oxygen molecule in my breath, every firing neuron in my brain. I craved a love so deep that the oceans would be jealous. I'd always think about how someday he'd be asleep with someone beside his body that was better than me. Hazel Eyes, does thinking about me keep you up until the bright sun brings out the green in you? Heartbeat, I've thought of you often. Maybe breaking hearts is a special kind of art. Maybe I was his latest masterpiece. Soon enough, he wanted to start all over again with a new pretty face that he promised him forever. Heartbeat started to beat for someone else. As you grow up, you find out who you are, but he only reminded me of who I wasn't. I became what I promised myself I'd never be, so I could have the privilege of calling him mine. So his hazel eyes could be my hazel eyes, and his heartbeat be my heartbeat. But some infinities are bigger than others. Someone once said, unless it is mad, passionate, extraordinary love, it's a waste of time. There are too many mediocre things in life, and love should not be one of them. His knee-weakening kisses ceased, and I looked into his hazel eyes for the last time, watching tears drip from the water's depth, knowing that tomorrow would not come back to us. Thank you.
First time, okay, you guys, slay. Next, we have another hip hop song, another talented rapper, and it's actually his last performance on the stage. He'll be leaving us for County forever. So, next to the stage is TJ and a special guest that I have no idea who is. Come on, TJ.
She's a home wrecker, home wrecker. The type to know me what she says in love letters. One night and forget her. And probably, honestly, that would be for the better. Cause she's a home wrecker, home wrecker. The type to know me what she says in love letters. One night and forget her. And probably, honestly, that would be for the better. Give me your phone, even though she knows you got a wife. Maybe she's in love, gotta take a mental, she plans a heist. Give you power, making sure you feel like the man. And I calculate by the hour and the occupation with no life. Show me right, body I can call and she wearing text. She knows she's doing wrong, then I'm funny doing right. Eve with the apple, go ahead and stick it like her. Heads up, walks in cotton, for tonight, no stopping without a fight. Cause she's awesome, with the way she toss him. Gorgeous the way she flows, she flows in the aroma. Beauty looking better than mama, smoking like a stoner. Knowing if I wanted to, I could own her, but I'm stuck in this position. Listen, come take a ride, girl, stop getting missing. You seem better in my dreams when you fix it. Telling that I'm in love with a beautiful woman in my kitchen. Cause she's a home wrecker. Yo, sing along if you know the chorus. Tell me what she says in love letters. One night and forget her. Probably, honestly, that would be for the better. Cause she's a home wrecker, home wrecker. The type of me what she says in love letters. One night and forget her. And probably, honestly, that would be for the better. I see her body in the wall, for praying to sin. Be not a command, when the body be looking like that. Everybody in positive action, it's a plan. Written on a script to the catch, story for key in my hand. Fingers ran down my chest, the body I with the rest. Reaching into a soul, love my hurt in the flesh. With finesse, undercover, we were best. Playing chess, I regret the moment in my house when she stepped. Give the check with the motive. My name was steady spoken with emotions, I was open. My time I always sleep with the owner of FIFA. Stuck between two, I was frozen. But going to my first in the arms, I was frozen. Cause she's a home wrecker, home wrecker. The type to know me what she says in love letters. One night and forget it. And probably, honestly, that would be for the better. Cause she's a home wrecker, home wrecker. The type to know me what she says in love letters. One night and forget it. And probably, honestly, that would be for the better. Alright, hold on, play the track. Since it's my last performance, I want to leave it on a good note. So hear me out. I said, it's all about perception when family seeks for perfection. Can speak on your blessings, but dreams can get you arrested. Life and what it seems got a thing, cause I'm confessing. If you're not pulling your weight, I'll leave you sleeping when you was resting. Seeking for intents to cover up your depression. A beast is speaking message, but it's hard when no one gets it. When the option is progression, he's seeping into your flesh. Mama cries, knowing I'm not going in the right direction. Injecting my soul, tension I did not know. Teaching my own profession, learning lessons as I go. And needed some affection, which my reflection can show that all I do is front, I can't do this on my own. I'm a changed man. They be like, who does she think you grown? Chase the fame, man. Can't believe now they hitting my phone. Cause in my visions I feeling distant and getting stoned. Everything is fiction and though I'm living I don't condone. Alumni, where's Greg at, yo?
Hey, yo. I said, before you start that track, I said, call me Greg the Rapper, shit, I gotta take a chance. Making change, make them dance, pretty strange. Shaking hands with some fans I ain't even ever know before. Funny how these closed walls turn into some open doors. You will never know for sure. Switch the flow like ocean floors. Blowing minds, so load the floor and squeeze the trigger. I'm on my game like season takes, I plead the
fit. Like fake hair, no, she's a bitch. Screw up once, no easy fix. Smoking half, need a zip. We the shit.
We the shit.
Play that.
Drop the track.
We walk past the Johnson, pass the ass, her off is blasting in the back. We smashing, mashing, classing after, smacking ass, it's so disastrous. It's just a word to gas her in the lobby with a glass of wine and dining out on ass. The place, the cash is hard to handle. Up in white, they cover Casper. In the black appears my captain, drinking captain from a flask or maybe bottle. Do you model? Do you sing? Yo, can you turn this up a little bit? She said, yo, start that one more time. I want to play this. I want you guys to hear what I'm saying. Take it back to the beginning. Yo, wait, before you started, I just want you, hold on. Yo, it feels so good to be back here. I just want to talk for a second. I'm going to take this shit off. Honestly, I've been thinking like the whole time I've been sitting in the audience of all y'all grown and it's crazy. I don't know if you're freshmen, raise your hands. Yes! Alright, basically, I graduated last year and I was like one of the first people in this group, I guess. And all I want to say is just value your time here because this school is like no other, really. And it changes you and like I know all you seniors like, yo, I want to get out of here, but you're gonna miss this shit, that's why I'm back. Play that! Make it louder too. Listen, one more time. Yo, it's been a minute since I've done this, yo. You don't understand. All right, let's do it. We walking. I'm gonna catch it from the middle. Hold up. Hold on. Let me do this, booty. Hold up. Listen. We walking faster, past the judge, to pass the ass, the rock is blasting in the back, we smashing, mashing, classing after, smacking ass, it's so disastrous, just a word to gas her, in the lobby with the glass of wine and dining out on ass, the place the cash is hard to handle, from the white they cover Casper, in the black appears my captain, drinking captain from a flask or maybe bottle, sing, are you a rapper? I'm just me, the simple kid, so what's your name, is all I asked her, and she said, you can't get it like that, but you gotta catch my eye. And I said, girl, I ain't really one for compliments, but you know I'll try. I see you looking pretty in the city, walking by without notice with the weather beaming on your face. And I'm just trying to follow while you wallow. We've been walking for a while. Can you stop so you can give me your name? She say you need to go, you far from home, you want a ride. You say you know your parents hate it when you stay out late. So can I get your number, baby? She said it's almost summer, baby. So you can walk me home, home. Yeah. So what you doing later on? Yeah, it's like, all you guys out there, don't try to get a girl's number, walk her home, talk to her for a minute, text on real. See what you doing later on. I said, maybe we'll hit the cafe, or maybe back to my crib, or maybe back to your place if your bed is big as mine is. And I'm not talking sweet because I know you be the finest. I'm just talking, girl, you be my highness, well that's cheap. Why are you trying to leave? You say you trying to breathe. I want you riding on me, but you say you got a man. Damn, a change of plan. But, yeah, I see you looking pretty in the city, walking by without a notice with the weather beaming on your face. And I'm just trying to follow while you wallow. We've been walking for a while. You stop so you can give me a name. You say you need to go, you far from home, you want a ride. You say you know your parents hate it when you stay out late. So can I get your number, baby? She said it's almost summer, baby. So you can walk me home, yeah. What you doing later on? I say you can walk me home. What you doing later on? No. so much, yo. It's good to be back.
Alrighty then. That was very nice. That was very nice. I like that. That was nice. I'm gonna go walk somebody home. Alright. Well, next we have the amazing prodigy of poetry. It's on!
No title, so I'm just gonna go. It's 3 a.m. and he sings songs to remember that his heartbeat is his bass drum fading to dreams where this life is a fiction story written by some shitty author named God. Broke and no job, change jingling in his pocket, too bad the change isn't enough to change. He was taught money can't buy you happiness, but we all throw copper, nickels, and dimes in a fountain full of sick wishes and happiness not paid for just yet. The moonlight ripples through the fountain, light bounces off the heads and tails of stacked change looking like shining scales that are dancing in sync with the water. He casts his line, hoping to catch all the change he can get, but he can't because the light resigns. The moon hides behind the clouds so it doesn't have to look him in the eye because its light guides him home at night rather than the sun's, and that scares the moon. He finds himself in his room being strangled by dreams, seeping the fatigue from his heavy breath of regret. Nocturnality creeps up on his bed sheets, clinging to his chest, telling him, it's a beautiful night. Think about every mistake you've ever made. The stars fall out to him like lost children yelling his name, taunting him because he had wished on shooting stars, but nothing frickin' happened. Jet pack strapped to his back, oxygen tank, blast off to confront the skies that deceived him, where he crashed on the moon while yelling, why did you lie? He made another crater on its crater, used the American flag to spell his name on the moon because this is where the American dream has gotten him. Hard work and determination will get him far. Hard work and determination only got him high. He waited and fished for wishes in the ocean night sky. Maybe for once the wishes he put on stars would come true, but they said, psych, not happening, boy. His oxygen tank, lost in the depths of space. He was lost in the depths of space, breathing in the darkness, feeding off the eternal midnight of the Milky Way. He smoked the stars in pipes, sniffed the stardust of Jupiter's rings. He let the black ink of nothingness leave no blank spaces on his soul. Almost overdose on supernovas. He wanted to become a nebula because he finally have a purpose on Earth, being seen as dreams of 5-year-old children who want to see the world above, on walls and rooms of 15-year-olds as a background wallpaper to be hung. All he said to himself was, what's the point of seeing the world beyond if you're alone? He asked himself, where the hell is home? So he tried to let the asteroids align around his neck and break the constellations that connected his body and his head. But then he felt the sun. He remembered what it was to be a lover and an older brother. He remembered what it felt like to be a sun as he felt its rays shower his body. You see, the sun drops dive into his being, blessing his black heart, soul, and brain. And absorbing the adolescent light, he heard love-toned calls of his name from home as his heart pulsed in tune with the sun, giving birth to a new beat. The light pumped through his heart, mixed with his blood, and healed his scars. Used a ray of sun as a lasso, swung from the planets and stars, and above the blue and green planet, he let go and dove into life. And as he drops, his skin peels from his lit body, the blank black spaces on his soul burn off as he meteorites through the sky. He revealed his rainbow-stained soul and his rainbow-stained heart. And he shoots through the clouds as a cluster of colors, leaving no blank spaces on the ocean night sky, and his little brother gazes at the rainbow shooting star and whispers, welcome home.
just because she's a personal friend of mine. And welcome to the first time for Word Up, Gabriella.
Alright, so this doesn't really. Alright, so this doesn't. This doesn't really have a title, but here it is. Today the world is burning itself up from the inside out. If only I could launch myself into space so I could stare at Earth's face and ask, how does it feel to be betrayed by your own senescence? But I can't. So these are my doomsday realizations. 1. I often find myself on my hands and knees scavenging for your remnants. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I keep coming up empty. No, not empty. I keep coming up with poems scrawled on my skin with a pen you loaned me. I keep coming up lonely. 2. The most important lesson you ever taught me was this. You cannot catch everyone that is falling and embed them into the palms of your hands. They will only claw their way out of the skin homes you made them and leave open blisters in their wake. You can't make them stay by giving them your blood because they will take it and run. Do not make them your world because they will not make you their son. And this is attributed to the fact that you are not a doorstop. You cannot prevent the door from closing after the ones you love leave. 3. Question. If we are constructed with race car hearts, why are we given speed limits? Answer. Because we are our own roadblocks. 4. Sometimes beauty is sunlight shining through cobwebs. 5. I love you is not an incantation. It will not make magical things happen. It cannot raise someone from the dead. And if you truly love someone, you will not ask them to set themselves on fire just to blend in with your burning house. There's a difference between saving someone and drowning with them. 6. We're the charred remains of our own hot heads. This was a chemical reaction. Your over and my under. This was you stepping in front of the bullet and me behind the gun. This was too much and not enough. All take and no give. 7. Inanimate objects cannot be blamed for my actions. I have had blades make wretched love to my skin and leave in the morning before anyone could put them at the scene of the crime. And even though it took me years, do you know what conclusion I came to? They were innocent. 8. You were not a depository. I should not have invested all that I was into you because sometimes my heart is a magnifying glass. And this time I read the fine print. You were drunk behind the wheel wrist. 9. There will be nights so empty that you almost welcome ghosts just to have something to fill the spaces. 10. Sometimes you will look in the mirror and realize that the heart you sewed on your sleeve is ripping at the seams. But hear me when I say that that does not make you irreparable. All it means is that you've outgrown the propensity to put your feelings in someone else's hands. 11. We are clay people. Do not let this world harden you. Do not let them make you suffer. Thank you.
Grilled you guys. So when the world blows up, think of her. So I'm gonna say a word, right? And you guys can say the first word that comes to your mind, okay? Let's put it this way. Word. Red. Sandwich. Pizza. Well, there's these two soul sisters of mine that are going to perform, and I would like to welcome to the stage Sade and Ashley.
Flu. Boys. Bugs. Small. Simple. Mind. Complicated. Relationship. On. Off. On. Facebook. Instagram. Hashtag. Tag me. Line. Slither. Snake. Anacondas. Wrap. Coil. Rattle. Shake. Suffocate. Clear. Cough. Sneeze. Sickness. Health. Flu. Cold. Winter. Freeze. Snow. Crystal. Ice. Cream. Hot. Summer. Melt. Your body. Melt. Body cry. Sweat dripping. Drip. Drop. Drip. Light rain. Thunder. Lightning. Storm outside. Sky is crying. Purple rain. Fog. Thunder clash. Thunder clap. Applause. Silence. Thank you. all of them. Nice.
Mean.
Rude. Happy. Joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Why? Not sure. Why? Leave it alone. Isolated. Ignored. Wall. Cry. Head and lap. Knee. Leg. Foot. Toe. Shoelace. Tie. Oops. It's okay. I'm sorry. Continue. Forgive. Forget. Lie. Simple. Bless. Curse. Last. First. Second is the first. Loser. Winner. Cheater. Fair. Is it really? There is a line. Cross it. Leap. Bounce. Jiggle. Wiggle. Kick. Scream. Lean. Fall. Recover. Again. Stop. Start. Finish. Top. Underneath. Over. Beside. You. Imagination. Reflection. Open your eyes. Keep that closed. Open your mouth. Keep them closed. Open your heart. But don't listen to the cries. Lies. Truth. No. Blue.
The only word I have is wow. That was brilliant. And next we have Elena.
I will take off them shoes. This poem, I've read it before here, but it's really important for me to read it again because someone really special is here, Andrea Gibson. This poem was inspired by her poem, The Nutritionist, or The Madness Face. And I followed her Stay Here With Me campaign, and it really inspired me to write my own experiences down and share them here with you. So here's Skip Beat Lifeline. At 8 years old, I was sheltering cavities like a crush's handmaid. My eyes too wide to see the flaws in such an innocent world, I heard the only way to stay beautiful was to fade away, like an old photograph before I truly knew what beauty was. With a 10-year-old heart that beat to the rhythm of a cartoon sound effects, I would visit the home of an honest soul whose name meant butterfly. She shared my dislike of cooties and boys with enough boogers to cover doodles-filled notebooks. Playing with half-naked dolls, hair tangled like mine, I burst out, I'll be in heaven by 30. I'll never grow old then. Soft-spoken, she laughed, no, you're not. Puffing out my chest like a bird, getting ready to take off the night before a storm, I pronounced, watch. In 20 years, read the papers, I'll be long gone. Braces hugging a crooked smile that came with a cracking voice box. Taller than all the boys in my class who smelled of their father's cologne, I convinced myself my body was already as broken as my grandfather after returning from the war, his heartbeat as hollowed out as the rusted shells from the bullets he fired. I thought maybe if I sliced myself open enough, I could heal whole. I just want to be whole. The clouded sky blocked the moon and the firefly stars that evening. I clutched a bottle of powdered white pills. I could have sworn they were perfectly formed snowflakes. I caught too many in my mouth, forgetting they wouldn't melt on my tongue this time, not this time. Sharp breaths between heaves of acid-filled throw-up, they seemed like my greatest blessing. My throat burned like a miscarried child's cry, and I knew then what it meant to be human. My mother held me all night. With each sob, her lungs collapsed like twin towers. You could hear them folding into each other. Her tears covered my face as she kissed my forehead with lips as warm as the hot cocoa she would make for me from a box of powder. I'm so sorry, my baby, she recited like broken Bible verse. I'm so sorry, baby. Please, just stay with me. Nobody knows how hard it is to climb out of bed sometimes. Depression isn't a choice, it's a disease. It's like a cancer. It anchors your love-swollen heart while you sleep, and I swear to you, I'm clutching this poem like it's my lifeline. It's the last thing beneath this tired. It's the last thing keeping the skip beat pulse beneath my tired ribcage alive. It's that 2 a.m. sadness. Just hold me, love. Just hold me. Because my bones aren't strong enough to pull myself back up anymore. I can feel this tree trunk spine of mine tumbling down. I just never formed curl-toed roots in the earth to pull myself back up. I guess you can say I'm just not grounded enough. But I'll shout off rooftops explaining my branches are still reaching towards the moon in the corner of sky during sunsets. It's hope. It's the taste of my grandmother's chocolate cake with a glass of cold milk. It's the salted smell of the Hudson, remembering that it will always make it to the open arms sleeve. Just hold me. At the end of each fingertip branch is a single magnolia flower. It kisses the galaxy. Please just send this as a reminder to the 8-year-old me, because everything is going to be okay. It is. It really is. I promise.
I'm very emotional right now. I'm not gonna cry in front of y'all. Yeah, so. Next, we have the birthday boy, Javier.
Have you written Miss Castanon also? So, I did some thinking. Love is usually that thing you. Here we go. Is this good? Bend everybody. Love is usually that thing you can't really express with words. So a lot of people write about love, which is ironic. So this is it. So what I wrote about it. Love is the title is Love is a Ponzi scheme. My mom told me love is a mole mistaken as a beauty mark. Well, I disagree, Mom. Love is more like a skydiver without arms. Love is a tree hugger struck by lightning. Love is an alcoholic donating his kidney. Love is Hershey kisses to my diabetic lips. Sweet love, so pure, and I pour more love into you because one day this will reciprocate. This I hope to be true. Falling in love is robotic. I do it because they do it, and they do it because others have claimed there were no side effects but happiness, but the side effects were hidden by sugar-coated pills swallowed by my affections, which turned my stomach of depression inside out. You see, because love is a two-player game with one controller. The closest answer for what love really is are fancy sentences fashioned by single philosophers, because love is witnessed more than felt. It's so easy for others, but harder for oneself. Love is winning the lottery, but not surviving a plane crash. Love is magic trick revealed. Love is a crooked game. One takes all the risk while the other monopolizes. You see, I know what love is, guys. I'm a teenager who's been in love before. You see, love is a run-on sentence that keeps on going, and like I said, this run-on sentence just keeps on going, and you're thinking, man, I should really put a stop to that sentence I'm in, but you can't. You don't want to lose the person you once knew, even though the person's existence is as concrete as your memories are, because you change as a person while your heart finds its comfort zone. Because I know what love is, I can say that. Love is a joke told so many times that the punchline starts to irritate like the back tag on your shirt. Answer this for me, Mom. Since when was the last time a love crew fell in love? Love is everything as it is nothing. Love is this, love is that. Love is shut the hell up about love already. All I'm saying is I'm a teenager who's been in love before, so I know what I'm saying. Love is stupid, love is ironic, love is a waste of time. So when I told my mom about how much I hate love, she simply told me, I love you.
Well, I love that poem. It's brilliant. Okay, next we have one of my favorite poets in this because they were a huge inspiration to me when I first joined. Please welcome Fatmata.
Okay, do you guys want to hear another love poem? Well, you should, because that's what I'm going to do anyway. It's called Fat Jess. The ice cream man's back ripping kids off, and I haven't seen a single girl in pants today. There's an orchestra of air conditioned and urban dewdrop puddles.
The air is ripe with summer, and you asked if I was excited to end my junior year. I could take a million more Algebra 2 classes because it always meant seeing you at your locker after. I don't mind math because I know we need cold syrup to know what honeysuckle tastes like. I remember the day we sat in your kitchen. You wore gray sweatpants and those dreaded Adidas sandals. We kissed on your countertop and I wrote you a love letter on your neck. It said, "It's only after we've kissed that I realized I've been starving." The first time we made out over the sound of Disney classics in your radiator, my best friend screamed into my ear and demanded what you taste like. Blushing as much as possible for an African-American girl, I muttered, "She tastes like skin." I'm sorry I couldn't think of something more clever. I don't like deep moments because I'm prone to drowning in my own skin. I don't like salty wigs in my spine, but baby, we could build rafts out of the sylvan cumbers of your mind. I hope that you realize, over 2 years later, I still spend a better part of my day kissing you. Thinking about kissing you. Damn it. I wish pretty flowers didn't cost so much. I'd stuff your socks in pockets with roses and orchids so you never feel too cold. The last day of my freshman year, you gave me your black hoodie and went to summer camp. I wore it every night to sleep until my sister stole it to wash. I figured your scent would substitute your standard midnight messages. Baby, I'm not smart enough to make metaphors about your hips or ever-expanding galaxies like my favorites, but I know enough about love to call you sexy without giggling or sounding 12. You are sexy, and I get embarrassed when you watch me kiss you because I don't want you to know how addicted I am to your taste. I remember the day you came back from camp, I wore yellow, and you smiled because I really fucking hate yellow. As an artist, I just know that yellow represents happiness, and I just really wanted you to get the point. And you did because you took my hand and performed a musical number in the middle of that park in Hoboken. I love the way you know all the parts of speech. It's so hard finding a hot girl that knows all the parts of speech. Conjunction, conjunction, what's your function? I love the way you know the Mr. Bill song and back me up when I rap the Danny Phantom theme song over the phone at 2 a.m. I love how you roll your eyes because I ordered the same thing as you, but honestly, it's just because you have amazing taste. So have fun in college, my darling. I'll be here waiting for your hair to decide what color it wants to be when it grows up. With a brush for life's knots and the droplets of sympathy I say just for you. I hope that when it comes time to say goodbye, your mom has a harder time than I do. Thank you.
Hi, Jack, what's up? We have one more performance. I'm gonna check this out. We have one more performance before our feature, Andrea Gibson. So just give us a second to set up and.
Go, Chloe. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you.
Happy birthday, Alondra.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Happy birthday, Alondra. That's so sexy.
Are you guys having fun? Who's gonna come back next year?
Okay, check. Okay, so, guys, Chloe and I have been collaborating on this project. We wanted to integrate some music and some turntablism and some spoken words, so this is our attempt at doing that. It's kind of raw. Yeah, enjoy. So we need 15, 16, yeah.
Close your eyes, my child, for a moment in order to be. You better close your eyes, my child, for a moment in order to be better in tune with the infinite. Better in tune. You better close your eyes, my child. You better close your eyes, my child, for a moment in order to be better in tune.
They might defeat the flesh, but they can never ever kill.
You better close your eyes, my child, for a moment. With the infinite, better in tune with the infinite.
The universe is listening. The universe is listening. The universe might defeat the flesh, but they can never ever kill. The universe is listening.
You better close your eyes, my child. Be better in tune with the infinite.
another dorm room, she wakes up broken. Afraid, sees dude on campus, but they haven't even spoken. So she hides her wrists when her mom visits and doesn't speak of her shame, only wishes that she could feel lovable again. And I tell her, we all have days it feels like our traumas are too inscribed in our skin, too etched into the bark of our family tree trunks. Days it feels like the constellations did us dirty, forsaking us with starlight and scripture and shattered family portraits and bruise marks on mommy's wrists and hospital bracelets and daddy's beer belly and red faces on all my memories. I tell her we all have days when we hate our bodies because it doesn't look like an airbrushed model's, when the number on the scale just won't add up to thin and we can't stand to live in the body we've been given. But love is the only language that will convince us to forgive ourselves for being broken mirrors.
Been trying to let go of the shame in my bones, but the body doesn't know how to call itself home. Been trying to let go of the shame in my bones, but the body doesn't know how to call itself home. He tells me he can trace the lines in my palms like they spell out where I've been, but let me tell you, man, you've never known a family of fingers that collected so much sin. In a world full of puzzle piece homes and empty bottle baby rattles that cling together like an orchestra of enough is never enough. Shame is a girl who doesn't kiss back. She never even looked back. There are secrets in her eyes that burn baby blue. Just breathe easy instead of knocking at the past with a battering ram. Every inhale is a victory. Exhale a cloud of smoke, a cloud of hope. A little vacation from boys who flee the scene and tie knots in your dignity. From days that punch you out and take shots at your entities. The universe is speaking to you. You gotta learn to listen. You gotta learn to live with your loneliness. She sure is a beauty.
And I tell her, yes, she sure is a beauty, and that I have come face to face with the infinite. Nights when my mind was just spinning in it. Nights I fell asleep hoping that I wouldn't wake up. Nights that my shame swallowed me up like an ocean with a shoreline whose lighthouses were made of empty hourglasses. And I don't know why, but I tell her that my father didn't hit me because I'm unlovable. He hit me because his father never learned that forgiveness is a parade we don't give ourselves permission to march in. And I tell her, this procession here is more carnival than funeral, more protest than sit-in, more thunderclap than gospel hymn, more capoeira than ballroom, and we came here to dance in the barest of feet. So do not ask us to hide our burns and our blemishes because you better bet they are beautiful. Look closely, and you will see our kite strings flying from the windows of psychiatric hospitals, bouquets of butterflies bursting from battered women's shelters, gardenias growing wildly in prison yards. Listen, and you will hear the holy, holy echo of children's laughter in Damascus, in Baghdad, in Belfast, in Aleppo, in Jersey City, in the Bronx, and you will know right here and right now that I am everywhere you have ever been and will ever go. I tell her these days I am too full of cherry blossoms and honeydew. My spine is aimed at the sky like a slingshot full of flowers. I am pulling back, letting it go. Let go with me. Let go with me, darling.
Been trying to let go of the shame in my bones, but this body doesn't know how to call itself home. Been trying to let go of the shame in my bones.
So much shame in my bones.
But this body doesn't know how to call itself home. Been trying to let go of the shame in my bones.
So much shame in my bones.
But this body doesn't know how to call itself home. Been trying to let go.
Everything you feel is okay. Everything you feel is okay. You belong here.
You belong here. You belong here. Truce is a word made of velvet. Truce is a word made of velvet. You belong here.
Years later, I find the courage to admit that I am transgender, and that this does not mean that I am unlovable. So this world that we imagine in this room might be used to gain access to other rooms, to other worlds, previously unimaginable.
And now that I'm sweating everywhere, we are ready for the one and only Andrea Gibson. Real quick, Andrea Gibson is not gentle with her truths. It is this raw fearlessness that has led her to the forefront of the spoken word movement. The first winner of the Women's World Poetry Slam, Gibson has headlined prestigious performance venues coast to coast with powerful readings on war, class, gender, bullying, white privilege, sexuality, love, and spirituality. Her work has been featured on the BBC, Air America, C-SPAN, Free Speech TV, and in 2010 was read by a state representative in lieu of a morning prayer at the Utah State Legislature. Now, on her fifth full-length album, Flower Boy, and her second book, The Madness Vase, Gibson's poems continue to be a rally cry for action and a welcome mat at the door of the heart's most compassionate room. Everyone show all the love you got for Andrea Gibson.
You all have me so emotional. My God. Do you all just sit around here and cry all the time? Holy cow. I feel so emotional from all those poems, and I wasn't planning on reading this poem that I'm going to read, but I'm going to read you one that's fairly new. This poem is titled Angels of the Get Through. So do you have that on there, Julia? You know where that is? This is a poem that I wrote for my best friend, and I write a lot of poems for people I'm kissing, but not enough poems for my friends. And so if you have a best friend or a friend, this is a shout out to them as well. Also, this is for anyone who has had a hard year. Anybody here have a hard year? Okay. So this is we'll start on a loner, and then we'll move up to a more celebratory mood for the end of your year, but we'll start here. You might want to bring that down just a little bit. This year, it's been the hardest year of your whole life. So hard, you cannot see a future most days. The pain is bigger than anything else. It takes up the whole horizon. No matter where you are, you feel unsafe. You feel unsaved. Your past, so present, you can feel your baby teeth. Sitting on the couch, you swear your feet don't reach the floor. You keep remembering the first time you saw a bird's nest held together by an old shoelace and the scraps of a plastic bag. You knew the home of a person could be built like that. A lot of things you'd rather throw away. You keep worrying. You're taking up too much space. I wish you'd let yourself be the Milky Way. Remember when I told you I was going to become a full-time poet, and you paid my rent for 3 years? Best friend. Angel of the get-through. All living is storm chasing. Every good heart has lost its roof. Let all the walls collapse at your feet. scream timber when they ask you how you are. Fine is the suckiest word. It is the opposite of here. Here is the only place left on the map. Here is where you learn laughter can go extinct and come back. I'm already building a museum for every treasure you unearth in the rock bottom. Holy, vulnerable cliff. God Mason, heart heavier than all the bricks. Say, this is what the pain made of you. An open, open, open road. An avalanche of feel it all. Don't let anyone ever tell you you are too much or it has been too long. Whatever guards the hearts on the bridge of the song, you are made of that thing. That unbreakable note. That photograph of you at 5 years old, the year you ran away from school because you wanted to go home. You are almost there. You are the same compass you have always been. You are the same friend who never left my side. During my worst year, you caught every tantrum I threw with your bare hands, chucked it back at that blood moon, said it's okay. Everyone's survival looks a little bit like death sometimes. I wrote a poem called Say Yes while I was cursing your name for not letting me go. Best friend, this is what we do. We gather each other up. We say the cup is half yours and half mine. We say alone is the last place you will ever be. We say tonight, let's stay inside reading Pema Chodron while everyone else is out on the town. Pema will say only to the degree that we expose ourselves over and over to annihilation can that which is indestructible in us be found. You'll say, Pema is so wise. I'll say, yeah, she is. We are too. Angels of the get-through. We are too. I'm going to read you a really old poem next. I wrote this poem for my friend Elijah. When he went to Iraq, he had everyone there call him Eli, so he could separate the two people in himself. The one that was going to war, and the one that would hopefully return home. And I just saw him a few days ago, and I wrote this poem many, many years ago, but it's sort of awakened me, so I'm going to share it. Eli came back from Iraq and tattooed a teddy bear under the inside of his wrist. Above that, a medic with an IV bag. Above that, an angel. But Eli says the teddy bear won't live. And I know I don't know, but I say, I know. Because Eli's only 24, and I've never seen eyes further away from childhood than his. Eyes old with the wisdom he knows I would rather not have. Eli's mother traces a teddy bear under the inside of my arm and says, not all casualties come home in body bags. And I swear, I'd spend the rest of my life writing nothing but the word light. At the end of this tunnel, if I could find the tunnel, I would write nothing but white flags. Somebody pray for the soldiers. Somebody pray for what's lost. Somebody pray for the mailbox that holds the official letters to the fathers, mothers, sisters, and little brothers of Michael 19, Stephen 21, John 33. How ironic that their deaths sound like Bible verses. The hearse is parked in the halls of the high school, recruiting black, brown, and poor, while anti-war activists outside Walter Reed Army Hospital scream 100,000 slain as an amputee on the third floor breathes forget-me-nots under the window pane. But how can we forget what we never knew? Our sky is so perfectly blue, it's repulsive. Somebody tell me where God lives, because if God is truth, God doesn't live here. Our lives have seared the sun too hot to live by. There were ghosts of kids who are still alive, toting M16s with trembling hands while we dream ourselves stars on Survivor. Another missile sets fire to the face and the locket of the mother whose son needed money for college, and she swears she can feel his photograph burn. How many wars will it take us to learn that only the dead return? The rest remain forever, caught between worlds of shrapnel shutters, body of 3-year-old girl to welcome to McDonald's, can I take your order? The mortar of sanity crumbling, stumbling back home to a home that will never be home again. Eli doesn't know if he can ever write a poem again. 1/3 of the homeless men in this country are veterans. And we have the nerve to support our troops with pretty yellow ribbons while giving nothing but dirty looks to their outstretched hands. Tell me what land of the free sets free its 18-year-old kids into greedy war zones, homes them like missiles and returns their bones in the middle of the night so no one can see. Each death swept beneath the carpet and hidden like dirt. Each life a promise we never kept. Jeff Lucy came back from Iraq and hung himself in his parents' basement with a garden hose. The night before he died, he spent 45 minutes on his father's lap, rocking like a baby, rocking like Daddy saved me. And don't think for a minute he too isn't collateral damage in the mansions of Washington. They are watching them burn and hoarding the water. No senator's sons are being sent out to slaughter. No senator's daughters are licking ashes from their lips or dreaming up ropes to wrap around their necks in case they ever make it home alive. Our eyes are closed, America. There are souls in the boots of the soldiers, America. Forget your yellow ribbon. You want to support our troops? Bring them home and hold them tight when they get here. I'm cutting out the swear words on the fly. I think it's a little tricky. I didn't realize how much I curse until I started performing in high schools, and I realized I do it a lot. This next poem, so when I was a kid, I had this exact same haircut almost, except for this part right here. This haircut, and I got picked on a lot for dressing like a little man. They actually said when I was really little that I dressed like a husband, which was, I wish I had had a wife, but I did not. And anyway, when I was young, I could iron at a very young age. And I would iron my shirts and they would be perfectly creased, and I would, which was, I wish I had a wife, but I did not. And anyway, when I was young, I could iron at a very young age. And I would iron my shirts and they would be perfectly creased, and I would button my shirts all the way up, so I felt, when I felt like my neck was getting a hug, and I was just perfectly snazzy little man. And I wanted to write a poem from the perspective of that kid. And this poem is called A Letter to the Playground Bully from Andrea, age 8.5. 8 3/4. Maybe there are cartwheels in your mouth. Maybe your words grew up to be gymnasts. Maybe you've been kicking people with them by accident. I know some people get a whole lot of rocking in the rocking chair. The ones who don't sometimes get rocks and their voice boxes become slingshots. Maybe you think my heart looks like a baby squirrel. But guess what? You absolutely miss when you tell the class I have head lice, because guess what? I 100% absolutely did not have head lice. And even if I do, it is a fact that head lice prefer clean heads over dirty ones. So I am clean as a whistle on a teapot. My mother says it is totally fine if I blow off steam, as long as I speak in an octave. My kindness can still reach. My kindness knows mermaids never ever miss their legs in the water, because there are better ways to move through an ocean than kicking. So guess what? If I ever have my own team, I am picking everyone first. Even the worst kid and the kid with the stutter like the skipping record, because I know all of us are scratched. Even if you cannot hear it when we speak, my mother says some people have heartbeats that are knocking on doors that will never ever open. And I know my heart is a broken freezer chest. That's why I can't keep anything frozen. So no, I am not always crying. I'm just thawing outside the lines. And even if I am always crying, it is a fact that salt is the only reason everything floats so good in the Dead Sea. And just because no one ever passes notes to me doesn't mean I am not super duper. In fact, my super duper might be a buoy or a paper boat the next time your nose is stuck up the river. Because it is a fact that our hearts stop for a millisecond every time we sneeze, and some people's houses have too much dust. Some people's fathers are like addicts. I've heard addicts have monsters in their walls and shaky stairs. If I lived in a house that had an attic, I'd think a nightmare, a burglar in my safety chest, or maybe I'd look for rest in the sticks and stones, because my mother said a kid can only swallow so much punch before he's drunk on his own fist. But the only drunk I have ever known was sleeping in the alley behind my church, and Jesus turned water into his wine. So even God has his bad days, but on your bad days, couldn't you just say, hey, I'm having a bad day? Instead of telling me I'm stupid, or poor, or that I dress like a boy, because maybe I am a boy and a girl. Maybe my name is Andrea Andrews. So what? It is a fact that bumblebees have hair on their eyeballs, and people also should comb to everything they see. Like an anchor man is not a sailor, like the clouds might be a pillow fight. Like my mother said, every bird perched on a telephone wire decides the direction of its flight, but the conversation's running through its feet. So I know everything I speak can make hurricanes in other people's veins, or shine their shiny shine. So maybe sometime, if somebody would sit beside me on the bus, I could say, guess what? It is a fact that manatees have vocal cords, even though they don't have ears, just like Beethoven played music, even when he can no longer hear. And I know every belt that has hit someone's back is still a belt that was built to hold something up. And it is a fact that Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone, but it's not hard for me to dream that maybe one day you'll write me back, like the day I wrote the lightning bug to say I smashed my mason jar and I threw away the lid. I didn't want to take a chance that I'd grow up to be a war. I want to be a belly dance, or a pogo stick, or an accordion, or the fingerprints, the mason leaves, and the mortar between the bricks to prove that he was here, that he built a roof over someone's head to keep the storm from their faith. My mother says that's where we all were born. And I think she's right. So right back soon. Sincerely yours. I really want to read you a poem I wrote for my dog, and I'm realizing there might be some parts in it that are not appropriate. Brian, do you know off the top of your head if that poem, it was on truths? You know what? I'm going to edit out on the fly, okay? Yeah. Okay, great. How bad can a poem about a dog be, you know? They're so innocent. If for some reason I say something inappropriate in the middle of the poem, just veer your brain to sweet little puppy. My dog usually travels everywhere with me, and but she's not here today because she got sick, but she's doing better. Yeah, but she's doing much better. Anyway, this is called A Letter to My Dog Exploring the Human Condition. Dear Squash, aka Squashy, aka Squishy, aka Squish Squash and you don't stop, aka Miracle Button, aka Little Perfect Peanut, aka my beating heart with fur and legs. I know you think it's insane that I still poop in the house, that I choose to wear underwear and pants, giving no one the opportunity to smell my true disposition, that on the days I need to feel better about myself, I don't just pee on someone's pee. Don't worry, I am not fooled by my thumbs. I know I am not the tadpole's final project. I know I am not the last species evolution praised to become. I can even swallow my own pride long enough to let myself drool when something smells delicious. What must you think of my mirror face? Or how much of my day I spend practicing my butch voice, my baby I'll fix your carburetor with my toolkit voice, when you know full well there's nothing in my toolkit besides a massive collection of self-help books that have helped me do nothing but feng shui the skeletons in my closet. Don't you just love how that femur accents the sofa set, Squash? I'm sorry I cry every time I take you to the vet. I'm sorry they take your temperature like that. I'm sorry I take you there when you've only got a bug bite. Humans hold so tight to the leash of life, but you will roll in anything dead and wear it like perfume. I wish I had your nose for eternity. I wish I could see what you see. Where the squirrels sate in your eyes. Where the postman deserves to die even when he's not bringing bills. What's with hating the shadow the peace lily makes on the floor of the living room? I know I let you down every day I choose to not murder the vacuum. Is it bad that I refuse to teach you to not be afraid of men? Is it bad that I want you to keep your bite and your snarl and your gleaming teeth? Is it bad that when they call you a risk, I call you a feminist? You never make fun of your friend Chloe's underbite, or your friend Willow's limp, or your friend Harvey's past trouble with the law. You never criticize me for being too uptight to let my hair down, even though you can let yours all the way out, all over my black hoodie, my black pants, the couch, the car, the chair. The online merch store that sells my books and t-shirts wrote me a letter saying, we can't continue to sell your products if they continue to be covered in so much of your dog's hair. I just assumed anything covered in you would increase in value. Remember when I told that woman I loved her, then whispered in your ear, "You're my number one girl." It's true. If I could, I would put your beating heart in my mouth and sucking it like a piece of candy so I could finally understand how you got so sweet. I know my therapist likes you more than she likes me, and I still let you sleep on her couch. You taught me a good nap. It's the best therapy. You taught me to sit when I damn well want to sit. I don't care that you never talk about patriarchy or capitalism or the heteronormative hegemonic paradigm. I know you're saving the world every time you get poo stuck in your butt hair and you don't go looking for someone to blame. Speaking of looking for someone, I can't imagine what you think of sex. I can't tell if you think it's a slobbering, badly boundaried belly rub. This next part might be bad. You just perch on the end of the bed, tilting your head back and forth. I cut that out really well. Tilting your head back and forth, wondering myself and taking my pants off. I have issues, Squash. Humans have issues. We dig holes to bury our own hearts. We chew on our own bones. We escape the predator but still can't shake them off. So some of us, we wear our own bodies the way your friend Berlin wore that cone around her head. Remember? So embarrassed, but I never had a better teacher at encaging my own spirit than you. Never had a better reason to stop playing dead than the day I saw your face at the shelter, your little nose pressed against the cold glass, staring up at me like I was a gay Noah's Ark. My heart, my heart, my heart. Every time I give you a treat, you run around the house looking for a place to hide it, till you finally come to where I'm sitting and hide it directly under me. The most important thing I have ever built in my whole life is your trust. That you always feel entitled to more than your fair share of the bed. That you always tear the stuffing out of every toy I give you so I can constantly be reminded to keep spilling my guts, to keep saying, I don't know how we'll ever make peace with the shortness of your lifespan, but I promise to make sure you know you are so loved every second you are here. You know my hands will build the sturdiest ark they possibly can to hold your holy howl and your holy bark and your holy beg, Squasharoonie Gibson, little perfect peanut, my beating heart with fur and legs. So before I started touring full-time with poetry, it was sort of a leap, a risk, as you could tell, of me telling you my best friend had to pay my rent for the first 3 years of it. But I was teaching in a kindergarten and preschool, and I had done that for about 5 years. And they were so much my inspiration for writing that when I stopped teaching to start writing, poetry full-time, I didn't have anything to write about for a long time. I just couldn't write for about a year. And this poem is one of the first spoken word pieces I did so many years ago. And I'm going to read it to you. I don't think it has a metaphor in the whole piece. It's proof that you can write a poem and not use a metaphor. Damn it, there might be one. Maybe it's a simile. I don't even know if does anybody know the difference between a simile and a metaphor? Good for you. Anyway, are you a boy or a girl, he asks. Staring up from the all 3 feet of his pudding-faced grandeur, and I say, Dylan, you've been in this class for 3 years, and you still don't know if I'm a boy or a girl? Well, then at this point, I really don't think it matters, do you? No. Can I have a push on the swing? And this happens every day. It's a tidal wave of kindergarten curiosity rushing straight for the rocks of me, whatever I am. In the classroom, we discuss the Milky Way galaxy, the orbit of the sun around the Earth, or whatever. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and kids, do you know that some of the stars we see when we look up in the sky are so far away they've already burned out? What do you think of that? Timmy, my mom says that even though you got hairs that grow from your legs and that the hairs on your head grow short and pokey and that you smell really bad like my dad, that you're a girl. Thank you, Timmy. And so it goes. On the playground, she peers up from behind her pink powder puff sunglasses and asks, do you have a boyfriend? And I say, no. And she says, oh. Do you have a girlfriend? And I say, no. But if by some miracle 20 years from now I ever finally do, then I'll definitely bring her by and meet you. How's that? Okay. Can I have a push on the swing? And that's the thing. They don't care. They don't care. Us, on the other hand. My father, sitting across the table at Christmas dinner, gritting his teeth over his still full plate, his appetite ripped away by the intrusion of my haircut. What were you thinking? You used to be such a pretty girl. girl. College boys drunk and screaming, leaning out the window of their daddy's SUVs. Hey, are you a faggot or a dyke? And I wonder what would happen if I met up with them in the middle of the night. And of course, there's always the somehow not quite bright enough fluorescent light of the public restroom. Sir, do you realize this is the ladies' room? Yes, ma'am, I do. It's just I didn't feel comfortable sticking this tampon at my penis in the men's room. But the best are always the parents at the market. The mother sticking up her nose, or the father pushes aside his child's wide eyes, whispering, "Don't stare, it's rude." And I want to say, listen, dude, the only rude thing I see is your paranoid parental hand pushing aside the best education on South that kid's ever going to get, living with your pinks and blues, your boy go rules. So why don't you take your macho and shove it in that cart with your wife's issue of Cosmo? Because tomorrow, I start my day with 28 lines and know a hell of a lot more than you. And if I show up in a pink Philly dress, those kids won't love me any more or less. Hey, are you a boy or a... Oh, never mind. Can I have a push on the swing? And someday, y'all, when we grow up, it is all going to be that simple. So I'll tell you, honestly, that's the first time I've ever read that last poem in a high school before. Because they didn't want me ever to say the word penis, which I thought really bizarre that you would think high school students have not heard the word penis. In fact, I think that is the most polite way to put it. It's 3 a.m. The emergency room psychiatrist looks up from his clipboard with eyes paid to care and asks me if I see people who aren't really there. I say I see people. How the hell am I supposed to know if they're really there or not? He doesn't laugh. Neither do I. Math's not on my side. 10 stitches in one lie. I swear I wasn't trying to die. I just wanted to see what my pulse looked like from the inside. Fast forward 1 year. I'm standing in an auditorium behind a microphone, reading a poem to 400 Latina high school kids who live with the breath of the INS crawling up their mother's backbones, and I am frantically hiding my scars. The last thing I want these kids to know is that I ever thought my life was too hard. I've never seen a bomb. I've never felt hungry. I've also never seen lightning strike, but we've all heard thunder, and it doesn't take a genius to tell something's burning. The smoke rises between us, forming walls so high they split the sky like slit wrist, and when the stars fall like blood, we are all left with nothing but a death wish. He said, "Call me by my true name. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones. Remember the rest. How about this one, America? Jesus wept. Jesus wept, but look at your eyes. Dry as the desert sand, dusting the edges of your soldiers' wedding bands. Look at your soul playing dead, because your ribcage is Abu Ghraib, as San Quentin is Guantanamo Bay, and your heart has beaten them so many times they bleed the moon." You know, children in Palestine fly kites to prove they're still free. Can you imagine how that string must feel between their fingers as they kneel in the cinders of our missile heads? You can count the dead, but the colors in the sky. The bow is breaking. The cradle is falling. Right now, a 6-year-old girl is crushed in a ditch in Lebanon, wishing on falling bombs. Right now, our government is recording the test scores of Black and Latino 4th graders to see how many prison beds will be needed in the year 2021. Right now, there's a man on the street outside my door with outstretched hands full of heartbeats no one can hear. He has cheeks like torn sheet music, every tear a broken crescendo falling on closed ears. At his side, there was a girl with eyes like an anthem no one stands up for. Doctor, our insanity is not that we see people who aren't there. It's that we ignore the ones who are. Till we find ourselves scarred and ashamed. Walking to emergency rooms at 3 a.m. flooded with the pain we cannot name or explain. Bleeding from the outside in. Our skin is not impervious. Cultures built on greed and destruction do not pick and choose who they kill. Do we really believe our need for Prozac has nothing to do with Baghdad, with Kabul, with New Orleans, with the thousands of U.S. school kids leading budget cuts that will never heal to fuel war tanks? Thank God for denial. Thank God we can afford the makeup to pile upon the face of it all. Look at the pretty world. Look at all the smiling people in the sky with a missile between her teeth and a steeple through her heart and not a single star left to hold her. And the voices of 1,000 broken nations saying, wake me when the American dream is over. gonna read you this next one, and then everything after this poem is gonna be happy. Somebody just said no. It's happy in my version of happy, which means it's still really, really sad. Does that make you feel better? This poem I wrote when I heard a story about a soldier who had been set on fire and burned to death because he was gay. And when I heard that story, I knew I would carry it around inside of me my whole life. I think there are a lot of things we should never, ever be able to shake off. And when I heard that story, I started reading similar stories about people in the LGBTQ community who have been tortured or killed that way, of being set on fire and burned. And I kept thinking about everyone who had died that way and what they might say from where they are now. And I wrote this poem. The night I was torn from the pages of their Bible and burned alive. My ashes came down like snow. A girl who had never seen my face saw me falling from the sky, laid down on her back to make an angel in the powder of my bones. From heaven I watched her, and my eyes were still flame, and my ribs were still blue. They didn't win, I whispered, as her arms built my wings. They didn't win. Look at that moon. It is a pebble in my hand. Tonight I could skip it across that fog-drunk sea to their lashes, accordion in the light, and all they know of hate is that it couldn't beat the love out of me. That when they dropped me to the grave, I fell like a bucket into a well and came up full, carving my lover's name into the skin of a weeping willow that had spent its entire life laughing at the rain. Hold me like a lantern, staircase my spine. When they bring their children to my funeral to scream faggot at my dust, tell them I was born into this casket, but I wouldn't pull the splinters from my heart any more than Christ will pull the thorns from his crimson head. They can come 1,000 times with their burning match and their gasoline, with their hungry laws and their empty mouths full of prayers to that God who greeted me at his gates with his throat full of trumpets and his tears full of shame, as his trembling palms collected the cinder of his children's crime. I know what holy is. I know the soul is shaped like a bowl. I know the lies we try to fill it with, and we spill too often the orchards inside. But my lover's shoes were tied with guitar strings, and when I walked beside, there was a silo in my chest. There was a field full of sun. There was a river full of gold that we left to pick our sweethearts from the trees. They kept uprooting tombstones so the names of the dead would crumble into poems. Write me down like this. Say my ashes never made the news. Say the jury was full of shotguns, and say the snow that fell on the tip of your tongue refused to melt away. Say this to the kids hiding their heartbeats from their father's fists. I planted the garden of my kiss. I opened the night with my teeth. I loved so hard that when they press their ear to the track, the train they hear coming will still be my chest. A rumbling harpoon, a sky they cannot bury. Look at that moon. I am a pebble in her hand, a harmonica held to the mouth of the river where nothing ever burns. All right, so we're going to end on an upbeat note. People keep saying no, which makes me think I really should have come to this school, guys. You know, the willingness to be sad is so important, because often it's the willingness that will move that out of you. It's the trying to push it down that creates so much pain in us, you know. I have terrible stage fright, and as soon as I gave myself permission years ago to just let myself be totally panicked on stage, things got so much easier, and I think that's sort of how all life works. This next poem is going to be my final poem, and I guess I'll just go into it. Julia, should I say something about staying here with me? So this poem I read for the first time a couple of years ago, and Julia over here is just an amazing human being, and she's been working on a project that Kelsey Gibb and I created a year ago called Stay Here With Me, and it's a community online space where we're trying to create a community of people supporting each other and staying alive and wanting to stay alive. So if you could benefit from that site, we would love you to check it out. StayHereWithMe.com. Anyway, this is the poem. Thank you so much for having me, all of you wonderful poets and people, all of you. Should I talk really fast?
No, you're good.
The nutritionist said, my voice keeps cracking, I'm going through something. The nutritionist said I should eat root vegetables. Said if I could get down 13 turnips a day, I would be grounded, rooted. Said my head would not keep flying away to where the darkness lives. The psychic told me my heart carries too much weight. Said for $20 she'd tell me what to do. I handed the 20, she said, stop worrying, darling, you will find a good man soon. The first psychotherapist said I should spend 3 hours a day sitting in a dark closet with my eyes closed and my ears plugged. I tried it once but couldn't stop thinking about how gay it was to be sitting in the closet. The yogi told me to stretch everything but the truth. Said to focus on the out-breath. Said everyone finds happiness and they can care more about what they give than what they get. The pharmacist said Klonopin, Lamictal, lithium, Xanax. The doctor said an antipsychotic might help me forget what the trauma said. The trauma said, don't write this poem. Nobody wants to hear you cry about the grief inside your bones. But my bones said, Tyler Clemente dove into the Hudson River, convinced he was entirely alone. My bones said, write the poem. The lamplight, considering the riverbed, to the chandelier of your faith hanging by a thread, to every day you cannot get out of bed, to the bullseye of your wrist, to anyone who has ever wanted to die. I have been told sometimes the most healing thing we can do is remind ourselves over and over and over, other people feel this too. The tomorrow that has come and gone and it has not gotten better. When you are half finished writing that letter to your mother that says, I swear to God I tried, but when I thought I'd hit bottom, it started hitting back. There is no bruise. Like the bruise, loneliness kicks into the spine. So let me tell you, I know there were days when it looks like the whole world is dancing in the streets, but you break down. That the doors of their looted buildings, you are not alone. And wondering who will be convicted of the crime of insisting. You keep loading your grief into the chamber of your shame. You are not weak just because your heart feels so heavy. I have never met a heavy heart that was in a phone booth with a red cape inside. Some people will never understand the kind of superpower it takes for some people to just walk outside some days. I know my smile looks like a gutter on a falling house, but my hands are always holding tight to the ripcord of believing a life can be rich like the soil, can make food of decay, turn wound into highway, pick me up in a truck with that bumper sticker that says it is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a sick society. I have never trusted anyone with the pulled back bow of my spine the way I trust the ones who come undone at the throat, screaming for their pulse to find a fight to pound. 4 nights before Tyler Clemente jumped from the George Washington Bridge, I was sitting in a hotel room in my own town calculating exactly what I had to swallow to keep a bottle of sleeping pills down. What I know about living is the pain is never just ours. Every time I hurt, I know the wound is an echo, so I keep listening for the moment when the grief becomes a window, when I can see what I couldn't see before through the glass of my most battered dream. I watched a dandelion lose its mind in the wind, and when it did, it scattered 1,000 seeds. So the next time I tell you how easily I come out of my skin in. Don't try to put me back in. Just say, here we are, together at the window, aching for it to all get better, but knowing there is a chance our hearts may have only just skinned their knees, knowing there is a chance the worst day might still be coming. Let me say right now for the record, I am still gonna be here, asking this world to dance, even if it keeps stepping on my holy feet. You stay here with me, okay? You stay here with me, raising your bite against the bitter dark, your bright longing, your brilliant fist of lost friend. And the only thing we have to gain in staying is each other. My God, that is plenty. My God, that is enough. My God, that is so much for the light to give. Each of us at each other's backs, whispering over and over and over, live, live, live.
Guys, 1 second, really quick, don't go anywhere. Very important. First, I gotta thank a few people, and we're gonna take a picture really quick. So all performers come up on the stage. Those people who are sitting in the aisles on the way out, please, you guys have to leave first when you go in just a minute, and make sure you take the chairs with you because it's very important that we can get everyone out safely out the exits. But real quick, I need to thank Mr. DePiro, Mr. Meyer, and everyone who's helping us film. Ruben, who designed this art in the back right here. Yes. I need to thank Vivian and Noah and Rachel and DJ Cubano. Yeah, I need to thank everyone who helped us put this show on, including everyone who supported it, like Ms. Crone and Dr. G, and everyone who showed up to support. I know I'm forgetting people, but thank you. Have an awesome summer, guys. Get home safe. All the performers, we're going to take a picture in just a second. But the rest of you, thank you guys for coming so much. Give it up for Andrea Gibson one more time.